fellow bookworms to Tibra's Den. My name is Whitney, and today I have my August TBR for you guys. I already have quite the stack that I need to read, but I decided, just like last month, I had Anya choose my TBR. It was her birthday last month, and I always love the pet picks when they're included in TBR games. So I ended up having Anya choose last month. And this month is Nidra's birthday. She'll be 4 years old. So I thought it'd be fun to have her choose my TBR, or part of it anyway. So I have my priority reads that I have to get to regardless. But I always like to add some more mood reads on there. And so I have a stack. I have 8 books that I'm going to be having her choose. So I'll be adding 4 more books to this TBR. And so yeah, I'm really excited to have her do that. Before we get started though, if you could go ahead and remember to like this video, it really does help out the channel. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on a thing. I'm going to go ahead and go through and do her picks first, and then we'll run through all the books I'll be reading this month. So let me get her all set up and we will be right back with you. Alright, so we have Nidra here. Wait. She's ready for some treats. And so she'll be choosing. I only have 8 books, so I'll be adding 4 more, just because my TBR is already quite large and I do have some chunky ones on there. And so definitely, need to not add too many to this. Tend to over add books, but so first up we have Tony Hillerman, A Thief of Time, and then we have James Alexander Thom, Follow the River, which I'm hoping she chooses the second one, because I'm really interested in reading this one. It's based on a true ordeal of Mary Ingalls. So let's go ahead and see which one she chooses. Release, Ninas. Okay, so she chose A Thief of Time by Tony Hillerman. So that's what we'll be reading this month. And this one we'll just have to wait. So next up we have Never Cry Wolf by Farley Mowat. This one I really wanted to read last month and Aine didn't pick it. So we'll see if Nidra does. And then I have the other one, My Grandma Gifted Me, My Husband's Daughter by Emma Robinson. These are both really short, so they're not going to tax me too much adding them on. So let's go ahead, wait, and get those, and release. Alright. Oops. So she chose Never Cry Wolf by Farley Mowat. So I'm excited to read this one for sure. And this one we'll just have to wait. So she was nice to me one round, not so much the first round. So next we have a new one that just came out, A Face to Die For by Iris Johansen. I really like this author. I've read a lot of her books and I plan on collecting her backlist and everything like that. But this is a new one and it kind of has a Helen of Troy aspect. So I'm excited to read this one. Hopefully she'll choose this one. And the other one is A Court of Thorns and Roses. I've never read Sarah J. Maas. I know she's really hyped. And people just absolutely love her. The only reason I picked this one up was because it was at the thrift store. And so I thought, you know what? It's $4. You can't beat that. I'll give her a try and see if I think she's worth the hype, which I'm sure she is. So I'm excited to try this one, but I am, like I said, rooting for the Iris Johansen book over that one. So we shall see what she picks. Wait. Okay, ready? Release! Yes. So she picked A Face to Die For by Iris Johansen. So this one, like I said, I will get to it, just not this month. And then lastly, I am trying to add a Nora Roberts book each month. So I have 2. I have her newest release, which is Night Work by, well, we know who it's by. And so this is her newest one. So I'm putting that as an option. And then the other one is the one that was kind of hard to get a hold of. And so my husband keeps asking me, since I spent so much money, when I'm going to read it. So I thought I would add this one and we'll see which one she chooses between these 2. I'm actually going to put the smaller one on her side just so it's not blocked by the bigger one. And we shall see what she chooses. So, ready? Release! Alright. Nina, sit. There you go. So she chose Night Work, and I'm really excited to read this one. Like I said, it's the newest one, so excited about that. And this one, if I have time, I might actually add this one on because I am curious to see why she doesn't like this book so much. The author does, um, or doesn't rather. And so I am kind of curious about it, but we'll be reading the newest one for now. So I will jump back over and we'll go through my complete TBR now. So say bye to Nidra. Say bye. Cute. Okay, so I am back from Nidra choosing the book. So she chose 4 more books to add on. I believe it's a total of 19 books I'll be reading this month. Before we kind of go through it, I did want to just say I recently received Lessons from Lucy by Dave Barry. And I got this from Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading. She was doing a giveaway and chose me for this one. And I'm really, really excited to read this. It's kind of about, obviously Lucy, and the lessons she kind of taught Dave here. So, I love my old dogs. Like, they're just, old dogs are the best in my mind. And I kind of have an idea of books I want to read that are dog related going forward. I'm not sure when I'll have a chance to get to this one. It's not going to be this month because I have several of them I want to kind of put together. So it won't be this month, but I do have a plan for this, and so I just wanted to thank Kelly real quick before I get into the other books I'll be reading. So there's that one, and then I did also recently purchase the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. I binge watched the show the beginning of the month and immediately ordered the books. It took them forever to even get shipped, but I got the box set, so I'm really happy. And yeah, I'm going to be reading these 3 right off the bat. I might start them this weekend when it's still technically July, and they'll spill over into August. We have The Summer I Turned Pretty, It's Not Summer Without You, and We'll Always Have Summer. And this one, if you're not familiar, it follows Belly, and she's kind of grown up with each summer her mom and her brother and dad, they go and spend the summer with her mom's best friend and her family, and she has 2 boys, Conrad and Jeremiah. Belly has always had a little crush on Conrad, and this summer, she's growing up, and so she's hoping he'll kind of reciprocate those feelings. But Jeremiah also has a crush on Belly, and so it's a little bit of a love triangle as well. So, really excited to read these. Like I said, I'm not waiting. I want to jump right in. And so I'll be reading these right off the bat. So those are the first 3 books I'll be reading. And then we'll kind of talk about the books Nidra chose. So first up, she chose A Thief of Time by Tony Hillerman. And I paired this against Follow the River by James Alexander Thom, which is the one I was hoping she would choose, but she chose this one instead, and I'm not mad about it. I've read The Sinister Pig by Tony Hillerman and Rock with Wings by Anne Hillerman, and they're all Leap Horn and Chi novels, and so this is one of the older ones. And so in this one, you have a noted anthropologist vanishes at a moonlight Indian ruin where thieves of time ravage sacred ground for profit. When 2 corpses appear amid stolen goods and bones at an ancient burial site, Navajo tribal policeman Lieutenant Joe Leaphorn and Officer Jim Chi must plunge into the past to unearth the astonishing truth behind a mystifying series of horrific murders. So, excuse me. Sorry. So I am excited to get to this one. And I like a good like Western Southwestern novel. So I'm excited to read this one, even though I would have preferred the other one. But she was nice to me through the rest of the choices. So next we have Never Cry Wolf by Farley Mowat, and I pair this against My Husband's Daughter by Emma Robinson. And this one I had wanted to read last month, but Anya did not choose it, and so I'm excited to get to it this month. And so it says, more than half a century ago, naturalist Farley Mowat accepted an assignment to investigate why wolves are killing Arctic caribou. Mowat's account of the summer he lived in the frozen tundra alone, studying the wolf population and developing a deep affection for these wild creatures who were of no threat to caribou or man, is today celebrated as a classic of nature writing. At once a tale of remarkable adventure and an indelible record of the myths and magic of wolves. So really, really excited to read this one. I've been kind of on like a conservation naturalist type kick lately. So, and then next, I paired A Face to Die For by Iris Johansen against A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. And she picked this one, which I was particularly excited for. I do want to get to Akatar, but I'm she's just so hyped that it always makes me kind of a little nervous to read like an overly hyped book or author. And this one, I know I like Iris Johansen's writing, and this is one of her newest work, and it's the Eve Duncan novel. And so this one, it says, archaeologist Riley Smith has been obsessed with Helen of Troy since she was a small girl, trailing her professor father all over the world, seeking the tomb of the world's most beautiful woman. Professor Smith had put his life on the line to prove that instead of a myth, Helen had been a living, breathing queen. Riley seeks the help of forensic sculptor Eve Duncan, who has the unusual skills necessary to recreate the face that launched 1,000 ships, revealing Helen's true appearance for the first time in history. But convincing Eve to take on the challenge will be difficult because her efforts could come at great personal risk to her and her family. Tomb Raiders have murdered Riley's father, and now she is more determined than ever to reach the burial site, avenge his death, and enlist Eve's aid. Also on hand to help is dashing fixer and treasure hunter Michael Cade. But could he have his own secret agenda when it comes to finding Helen? Now both Riley and Eve are in danger and in a race across one of the most remote parts of the world. All they have is their trust in each other and their belief in a dream as they hunt for Helen. So I'm really excited for this. Like I said, I love Iris Johansen's writing. Every book I've read of hers, I've always enjoyed. So really excited that Nidra picked this one for me. And then lastly, we had two Nora Roberts books. I paired her newest work, which is Night Work, against Promise Me Tomorrow, which is the rarest book in the collection. And she chose Night Work, which I'm really excited for. And says, when Harry Booth started stealing at 9, it was to keep a roof over his ailing mother's head and pay her medical bills. At night in darkness, he'd slip into rich people's homes, opening drawers and safes filled with luxuries he could trade for precious cash. When his mother finally succumbed to cancer after a long, valiant battle, he left Chicago but kept up his night work. From leaving a party at a Savannah mansion with a diamond bracelet in his pocket to extended stay in New Orleans, he dons new identities and stays careful, observant, distant. In his line of work, he can't afford to attract attention or get attached. Still, he can't help letting his guard down when he meets Miranda Emerson, but the quick, powerful bond between them cannot last because not all thieves follow Harry's code of honor. Some think everything has a price. Some pay others to take risks so they can hoard more treasures. Some are driven by their desire to own people the way they own paintings and jewels. And after Harry takes a lucrative job commissioned by Carter Laporte, Laporte sees a tool he can use and decides he wants to own Harry. The man is a predator more frightening than the alligators that haunt the bayou. When he strong arms Harry into stealing a bronze from a Baltimore museum, Harry abandons Miranda cruelly with no explanation and disappears. But no matter what name Harry uses or where he goes, Paris, Rio, a quiet Virginia town where he runs a high school drama club, Laporte casts a shadow over his life. To truly free himself, Harry will have to face down his enemy once and for all. Only then, after all these years, can he hope to possess something more valuable than anything he's ever stolen. So, really, really excited to read this. And I'll also be reading another Nora Roberts book, so I'll have two. And as I mentioned in the last clip, if I have time and I have a good reading month, I might add Promise Me Tomorrow in as well. So, but that is the picks that Nidra did. Now we'll go ahead and get into the books that I need to read and prioritize. So first we have two more for my Throwback Thursday. These are the last two dog books from my childhood shelves. And so first we have Big Mutt by John Reese. And this one, it says Outlaw Dog. A blizzard threatened the North Dakota Badlands, and Dwight Jerome was herding his father's sheep across the road back to the ranch. That was when he first saw the magnificent Big Mutt who filled the back seat of a car from New York. When the storm broke, the Easterners were afraid of being snowed in for days in the car. They abandoned the dog. The Big Mutt slept out the storm in a coyote's den. When he awoke, he was famished and his nose led him to sheep. To the ranchers, any dogs that kills sheep is doomed. A posse is sent out to track the outlaw down, but Dwight believes that wolves are doing most of the slaughter, and he is determined to save Big Mutt. So there's that one, and then this one does not have a cover, but it's Kavik the Wolf Dog, and this is by Walt Murray, and it's illustrated by Peter Parnell. So this one I remember reading multiple times as a kid and really enjoying, so I'm excited to revisit it. This says, Crash. Amid a shower of glass, Kavik hurls himself through the window to freedom. The dog wants only one thing, to return to Andy, the boy who saved his life. He must travel thousands of miles over mountains and glaciers past the hunter's gun. So, I'm really excited to revisit that one. Then we have the next two in the Dresden Files. I may only read one of these. Because at this point, I want to finish the series this year, but at this point, as long as I read one a month, I can finish it. But I'm trying to get it finished quicker or sooner rather than later. So first up is Cold Days. I'm not going to read the synopsis on these, just so that way I don't give any spoilers. But we have Cold Days, and then we have Skin Game. So we're going to be continuing on. And then I'll have two more that are part of the actual series, plus the little short story collections. There also was recently The Law released, which I believe is just on audiobook, so I probably won't listen to that one, but we shall see after I finish whether I want to listen to that one or not. But yeah, hoping to get to these two, but I might just read Cold Days because they're both pretty big, like almost 600, if not over, a little over 600 pages. And I really struggled with the last book, so I don't want to push myself too hard if I'm not enjoying these. So we shall see how that goes. Then we have some of my 25 days of Bookmas books. And so, as I mentioned, like in my wrap up and such, with these one, since I do have such large TBRs, I try the first book and then I either finish it and continue reading, or I might not finish it and decide to hold off. It just kind of depends how that goes. So I have three of these, and these are a Southern Witch series by Kimberly Frost. And so I have Would Bewitched is the first one, Barely Bewitched is the second one, and then the one that my husband and sister-in-law chose is Halfway Hexed. And so yeah, this is sounds like a fun series that I'm gonna really enjoy. So I may read these, or like I said, I might hold off and read them at a later date when I have more time. But it says on the first one anyway. In the small town of Duval, Texas, the only thing that causes more trouble than gossip is magic. The family magic seems to have skipped over Tammy Jo Trask. All she gets in the way of the supernatural are a few untimely visits from the long dead. Smartmouth family ghost, Edie, but when her locket, an heirloom that happens to hold Edie's soul, is stolen in the midst of a town-wide crime spree, it is time for Tammy to find her inner witch. After a few experiences with her dysfunctional magic, Tammy turns to the only person who can help, the very rich and highly magical Bryn Lyons. He might have all the answers and a 007 savoir faire to boot. But the locket isn't the only thing passed down in Tammy's family. She's also inherited a warning to stay away from anyone named Lyons. So basically, it's just, follows Tammy and kind of her journey as a witch and becoming a witch and such. So I think they're going to be really, really enjoyable. I really do think I'm going to enjoy all of those. So like I said, it just kind of depends on how the month goes, whether I read all of them or I hold off or whatever. So next we have two. This is part of a trilogy. So of course, if I enjoy them, I'll get the third one. But we have West of Eden and then Winter in Eden, and these are by Harry Harrison. And these have dinosaurs, so I'm super excited for both of these. I'll go ahead and read the synopsis of the first one. It says, From a master of imaginative storytelling comes an epic tale of the world as it might have been, a world where the age of dinosaurs never ended, and their descendants clashed with a clan of humans in a tragic war for survival. It is the tale of Carrick, a young hunter who grows to manhood among the dinosaurs, escaping at last to rejoin his own kind. His knowledge of their strange customs make him the humans' leader, the dinosaurs' most feared enemy. So I'm really, really excited for these ones. Um, like I said, if I enjoy them, I'll get the third book. And these are another one. I might just read the first one and then hold off, or I might read part of the first one and just kind of test the waters on. But I'm hoping to get to all of these. Obviously, the more books I read, the better. And that way, they're not just waiting on me. But next, we have my ABC Author Challenge book. So I have my P author and my Q author. So first, we have Kalayna Price, and this is Grave Witch, and it's an Alex Craft novel, so it's part of a series. And this kind of seems like it's the Dresden Files meets the what are they called? Laurel K. Hamilton's um, series. So I forget what the series is called, so I'll leave it down here. But it kind of sounds like that based on the synopsis, but it's obviously shorter, so it might be a little bit easier to read. But it says, as private investigator and consultant for the police, Alex Craft has seen a lot of dark magic. But even though she's on good terms with Death himself, who happens to look fantastic in jeans, nothing has prepared her for her latest case. Alex is investigating a high profile murder when she's attacked by the shade she's raising, which should be impossible. To top off her day, someone makes a serious attempt on her life, but Death saves her. Guess he likes having her around. To solve this case, Alex will have to team up with tough homicide detective Fallon Andrews. Fallon seems to be hiding something, though it's certainly not his dislike of Alex, but Alex knows she needs his help to navigate the tangled webs of mortal and paranormal politics and to track down a killer who wields a magic so malevolent that it may cost Alex her life and her soul. So, um, yeah, we'll see. Like, I'm hoping I like it better than the Dresden Files anyway, and then I'll have a new series to enjoy. But I'm really excited to try this one, and it's nice and short, so that should be good. The next one's chunky. It's around 600 pages, but this was the only Q author I could find at the thrift store, and so it's called Regrets Only, and it's by Sally Quinn. Let me go ahead and read the synopsis. Um, this is the Washington novel. Regrets Only takes the reader inside the most powerful institutions in the capital, from the White House to the Georgetown salons, from the newsrooms of the most powerful daily newspaper to the bedroom of the Vice President of the United States, and ultimately to his wife's secret hideaway in the executive office building, where she entertains the Washington's bureau chief of the powerful news magazine Weekly. Regrets Only is the story of two exciting and passionate women, Allison Sterling and Sarah Adabelle Gray. One a blonde, beautiful, successful reporter for the Daily, the other the ravishing auburn-haired wife of the vice president, and of two men, Desmond Shaw and William Roswell Gray III. One the Weekly bureau chief, the other the vice president, soon to be president of the United States. These four magnetic people are locked in a shifting relationship that threatens the reputation of their respective journals and ultimately the prestige of the presidency itself. Throughout the intoxicating and suspenseful novel, Quinn brings her characters together in passionate love and conflict in a series of satirical and hilarious scenes from inside Washington life, a world she knows better than anyone. So yeah, not sure this is gonna be my cup of tea. But definitely, obviously, going to be giving it a try, and I might find a new book that I really enjoy. So we'll see on that. And then lastly, we have the other Nora Roberts book I'm going to be reading, and this is one I'm going to be reading with my husband. This is part of a trilogy. The third one's coming out in November, so we're going to be reading this one and book two together. And then once the third one comes out, we'll just jump right in and read that. And so this is the Dragonheart Legacy, and the first one is The Awakening. And so I'll go ahead and read the synopsis. Brain Kelly works at a job she hates while trying to pay off her student loan, pinching pennies and fighting off anxiety attacks. She's prone to those along with headaches and strange dreams, like the one she just had and when she encountered a dragon. But as vivid as the dream was, she knows that the bedtime stories of magical places that her father told her about long ago, before he disappeared, were just that, stories. Only lately she noticed a silver haired man who seems to follow her everywhere, yet always eludes her when she tries to catch him. She thinks she hears his voice in her head. Come home, Breen Siobhan. It's time you came home. Then a sudden shock interrupts her everyday worries. While dutifully house sitting for her cold, critical mother, she finds papers that had been previously locked away, records of an investment account worth nearly $4 million, an account that is in her name, a fortune that her long lost father had been wiring to her for years, hidden from her by her mother. It is a discovery that would turn anyone's life upside down, but for Breen it will change things in unimaginable ways, because after she takes her rightful ownership of the money and flies to Ireland in hopes of finding her father, she will follow a dog into the forest in Galloway and enter a place where fairies and elves and mermaids dwell, where a man named Keegan will train her to fight, where she'll embrace powers she never knew she had, and where a newfound courage will lead her towards her destiny. So, I am so excited to finally get into this trilogy, and excited to read a book with my husband again as well. So, this will be, like I said, we'll read it together at night, before bed, so you'll see how this one goes as well. So that is it. I'm not gonna hold them up. There's way too many books. But yeah, let me know if you're familiar with any of these books, if you've ever read them, if you're planning on reading them, or what you're most excited to read in the month of August. I would love to know. And I'll go ahead and leave you here. I know this video is getting a little bit longer. And happy reading, everyone. Bye.